Hello everyone. Please forgive me. I have a notepad in my hand because there are some notes I want to definitely make sure I get included in this. And I have a cat in my lap who insists on being petted while I do a video. Her name is Katniss. So, this video is my personal review of Modern Samurai Project's Appendix in the Waistband and Red Dot class. First thing I want to say about it is it was an awesome class. Excellent instruction. I want to thank James Yeager from Tactical Response and Mike from Grand Thumb, both for doing a YouTube review and putting theirs out on the net so that I could learn about the class. This was the first Red Dot class I've ever taken. This was the first appendix carry class I've ever taken. And as I said when I began this video, it was awesome. Here's a real quick clip of Scott Jelinski giving us instruction on red dots and why they are as good at close range as they are at long range.
So, again, part of my methodology is I'm going to tell you what you're going to see before you see it, so that when you see it, you can recognize it and immediately implement it, okay? So, we're shooting, right? We got 1, 2, 3. When we transition to the 3x5, what's the first thing that moves?
Your eyes.
Why? Keep it simple.
Dot follows.
Only the dot follows your eyes?
Everything.
Your body follows your eyes, right? If you don't believe me on that, how many of you guys have ever been driving, right? You drop something, so you put your right hand on the steering wheel, you try and grab that thing, and the car comes with you. Oh, fuck. Right?
All the time.
Three accidents.
Which car is yours, sir?
It's the one backed up to yours.
Yeah. So, yeah, the eyes control the posture, controls the weight, and your alignment, right? That's why that happens. So that's why your body follows your eyes. So your eyes are going to come right about here, right? As the gun comes up after the third round, right? You're going to find the dot right around the neckline, okay? That's where you start prepping the trigger. As soon as that dot breaks this bottom line here, you're going to pull the trigger, and then the round will land somewhere near the middle. What is the reason for the difference between the pull and where the round lands?
Because it's still moving.
Okay, still moving, right? What's a fancy word for still moving? What? Momentum. Momentum. Say it loud, say it proud. Momentum, right? And from that lesson on momentum, if I wait till that dot is in the middle to break the shot, where's that round gonna land? High. And in this drill, what's the fucked up thing about missing high? You had to pass by the target to get there, right? And that makes zero sense. We've all done it, but it makes zero sense. Use your whole margin of error. This is a 3x5 card. Whether the shot lands here, it doesn't matter. Use the whole margin of error. Why wait for it to be in the middle of the middle, right? And then where you only have a 1.5 inch margin of error. Why are you doing that? Because you're a sniper. That's why. Okay? And if you truly are a sniper, let me know. I'll let you lay down for the rest of the class. It's fucking kind of muddy, so don't do that shit.
In the puddle.
In the puddle, right? So that's the overall drill. What are my standards for this? Okay, there's 3 obviously, right? Per my thing from before. There's the national standard is 3 seconds. Okay, if that's not good enough, or you think that's too slow, if you were in that church in that day in Texas, right, and you could deliver 5 rounds, 3 to the body, 2 to the dome, in 3 seconds, you would have had a 0.8 second surplus to put the rest of the magazine in that guy, right? So that it's not slow, right? It's careful, okay? This is what you're gonna do on the 3 and 2. Gun comes out, first round hits, right? That thing is going to rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, right? Do we really need to do this at 3 yards? Probably not. Would you need to do it at 45? Oh, yes, you would, okay? So, next one, right? As that third round lands, we're not getting a 4th sight picture. We need to shoot 2 things, okay? So that's gonna come up, you're gonna let the dot just float. You're not gonna drive, you're just gonna let it float. You see that dot, bang, rise, and fall, okay? If we do that correctly, that'll get you 3 seconds, The next one, 2.5. If your sight package is there, you're gonna pull the trigger, okay? Again, guys, I said dot before. I meant whatever sight package you have in the center mass alpha is good enough, okay? The next one, the 2.5, if your sight package is there, you're going to pull the trigger. You're still letting it float up. But if your dot's in the 3x5, you're pulling the trigger. You're not letting things rise and fall, okay? Why am I letting it, why are we letting it float up to the 3x5? Because if you drive, what's going to happen? You're going to overshoot it. Plus, you don't know what the dot does in relation to the pistol yet. So that's why we're just letting the gun do what it wants to do right now. And then we'll learn how to do that on the next one. So the two is, if it's your sight package is there, you're going to hammer it. You're going to drive it to the neckline. Let it float the rest. If the dot's there, you're going to hammer it. Why just to the neckline and not the whole way? Momentum, because you're going to overshoot it from that part. Okay.
As you can tell by the video, our range conditions were not the best. It was the 29th of May 2021, and the temperature was like 48 degrees, blowing wind, and it had rained all night long before, so the range was just absolute crud. But we got through it. This was day one. Day two went much better weather-wise. Some things I want to point out right up front. This is an advanced shooters class. This is not a basic class. If you have not had any shooting classes before, then I will highly recommend that you take at least two. You can go to, for instance, you can go to tactical responses, fighting pistol, and I would recommend taking fighting pistol and advanced fighting pistol. You can go to the Warrior Poet Society and take their pistol 1 and 2 classes. If you can afford it and you can get there, the class I would recommend above all, even though I haven't had the opportunity to take it, is defensive pistol out at Thunder Ranch with Clint Smith. It's a 3-day course, but it's kind of pricey. It's $1,175, and you have to use frangible ammunition in that class. But I would take any one of those three before I would recommend that you take this class. You need to know the basics of using a handgun, of using any firearm, the 4 basic rules of safety. They need to be ingrained in your brain before you take this class. You need to have experience with your gun before you take this class. Now, with all of that said, again, it was an awesome class. There were 16 students in the class, and I was the worst, which was very humbling for me. I am normally one of the better shooters. I am maybe not number 1 or number 2, but I'm usually in the top part of a class of shooters. Not this time. I was rock bottom. I had issues with my grip that I needed to work on. I have a lot of bad habits that I've learned that I need to get out of doing. And I had a hard time, doing what I needed to do to basically see the red dot correctly. The Appendix class, I've never carried Appendix ever in my life. So that was that was something new to learn. That's the best way to put it. This is the holster. Here is the holster that I used for the class. It's a Tier 1 Access Elite. It's got the bungee cords and the whole 9 yards. This is not the gun I used for the class. I actually broke that gun, so it's gone back to Sig Sauer for replacement. But this is the holster I used, and I've never carried, like I said, I never carried Appendix style, and I was really surprised how comfortable it actually was, especially sitting down in a car. It made all the difference in the world. I've got the large wedge on this here from Tier 1 Concealment. And you need one of these on the back to push it out and away. This here is called the claw, and I had to adjust my claw so that it wasn't quite, it wasn't sticking out quite as badly as it would have been if it had 2 more pieces to it. This comes with 4 pieces, stackable pieces, and it's a great holster. I don't know any other way of putting it. Scott uses a Tier 1 concealment holster. It's a little different because he doesn't like this part. This part he carries off to the side, and he just carries this straight up and down, pretty much center of his body. But it's a Tier 1 concealment, and if you go to the Modern Samurai Project's website, I think you'll find the one that he uses on that website. And that's pretty much it. I want to highly recommend the class to anyone that plans on carrying either Appendix style or carrying a red dot. It was a phenomenal class. Excellent instruction from both Scott and from AJ Holtz, who was the assistant instructor. And AJ got his black belt patch, and I'm not going to go any further on what that is. You need to take the class to learn more about what the black belt patch is. I hope people will, if you see this video, you will seriously consider Modern Samurai Project's Appendix carry and red dot class. It is worth the money, and it was just phenomenal. I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you have a great night. Talk to you later.